Okay, so if you guys believe in ghosts or hauntings or anything like that, you need to hear the story that I'm about to tell you. Okay, so my husband got a temporary job working for 2 weeks with this company on the Idaho-Utah border. And he was like, well, I need you to find me a place to stay. So checking Airbnb, there's like nothing out here in this area, right? It's a really, really small city. It's population 100, like very tiny. So I'm on Airbnb and I find him this little cabin and it's cute, cozy. I didn't think anything of it. So I booked it. It was not expensive at all. Should have been a red flag. But anyway, he gets there and he checks it out and he's like, oh, this is perfect. It's cute. Like, this will work for both of us because he's there with another coworker. So anyway, they get all cozy, comfy the first night, and my husband goes to bed around 9 o'clock. Well, he says around midnight he woke up like abruptly. Like he wasn't sure what was going on. He was kind of confused why he just woke up. It was like almost like he was in a panic when he woke up. And he hears just loud, heavy scratching, like against the grain of wood. And he's like, what the hell is going on? And he said it was super loud. It didn't sound like it was coming from outside. It sounded like it was coming from inside. And it just progressively got louder. Like he said he was in there for about 40 minutes and it went from quiet to just loud, deep scratches. And maybe it's a critter, maybe it's a bear, maybe it's something, I don't know, but it's loud and it's scratching. He finally fell back asleep like an hour after all this noise stuff started. Woke up in the morning, everything was kind of normal, went to work. He gets home from work, same thing. He washes up, hangs out for a little bit, goes to bed about 9. Wakes up again, midnight on the dot, okay? And he is in a panic again. His heart is racing. He's like, what is going on? Boom, loud scratches start, okay? And he's like kind of freaked out at this point because now it's 2 nights in a row. There's no way midnight on the dot for 2 nights in a row is going to be some animal, okay? So, and he's so freaked out that he doesn't even want to look around. It's pitch black. There's nothing out there around them, just that cabin. This is where it starts to get weird. He said he was sleeping, and when he had woken up, his pillowcase was ripped out from under his head and just crumpled and thrown into a ball on the floor next to him. I don't know what would have caused that and what would cause the scratching at the same time, but that's not normal. So he falls back asleep about an hour later, all freaked out. He played on his phone for a little bit and passed out. Wakes up for work, goes to work, but he leaves all of the lights on in the Airbnb this time. He's like, I'm going to trigger something. Like, I want to make sure I'm not going crazy. I'm just going to leave all the lights on. He gets home from work. Every single light is turned off. Now, at this point, he's freaking out. He's like, I'm going to call the Airbnb host. I want to see if they came over here, if they cleaned, if they turned off the lights, like what's going on. So right as he's about to call her, she actually pulls up. She wanted to check on everyone, see how the house was. Just okay. Apparently, she lived close by and was driving by and seen them outside. So they're like, hey, what's going on? Is there something up with this house? And she immediately is like, uh-oh, what happened? And he goes and he tells her every single thing that I just told you guys. And she goes, I probably need to put a disclaimer on the Airbnb ad. Because apparently this happens a lot. She said people have seen ghosts, shadow figures, heard noises, things have been dropped and broken out of nowhere, just bizarre stuff. She also said that the cabins, all 3 of them that she owns, were built in the 1860s, I believe it was, and everyone has experienced something paranormal. One of the cabins had a little girl that was boiled to death in the 1800s in it, and they see her ghost all the time. So obviously, after hearing all of this, my husband's a little freaked out, okay? So he goes back inside, and we had told him, like, oh, flip the mirrors around. We're getting really deep into this now. Any mirror that you see, flip around. So he goes back into his bedroom, and he starts flipping all of the mirrors around, and then he starts to pray. He, closes his eyes, and he's praying to himself, and he gets zapped in his ear. He said there's nothing around him. He feels a zing in his ear that he feels all the way down his body. He's freaking out. He runs outside. He's got the chills now. He's like, I don't know what is going on, Amber, but I got to get the fuck out of here. Something weird's happening. So about 20 minutes later goes by. He calms down. He's like, you know what? I'm going to stick it out and we're going to see how night 3 goes. And that's where we're at. We're going on night 3 right now. And I'm freaking out that something weird is going to happen tonight, guys. But stay tuned for part 2 because I'll have an update for you tomorrow morning.
Now you know. The number 3, honey. Do we not know about the number 3? Do we not know? Do we not know? The Trinity Boo. There's so much centers around the number 3 right now. I would not be staying a third night. In fact, if I made it to the second night and that happened again at the same time, this is not a coincidence. And I understand, like, some animals have a routine. Like, they do certain stuff the same way. They'll cross a river at the same time every day. Like, yeah, I get that patterns, but this is a little weird. Just a little weird. The fact that the Airbnb host did not let people know, like, that is definitely a disclaimer. Y'all remember that video from back in the day, a minute ago, where that it was a friend group. It was all girl friend group, and they stayed at an Airbnb for, I think, a bachelorette party or whatever. And her 2 friends was there, was like, girl, we was waiting for you. You saw it there at the stairs, girl. You sister, we need to know. You got your herbs and everything. And she was like, she was just like, with her husband was like, no, I ain't gonna go. That right there needed this disclaimer. But that one had reviews. In the reviews, it said, oh, this is haunted. So what happened with these reviews? Like, no one else experienced this? Well, clearly they did, but they didn't want to warn any other guests. Like, on Airbnb, can the host delete reviews? I don't think they can. So why wasn't it known that there's something going on with this cabin? And the fact that she said cabin, it was just like, nah, that's a red flag right there. A cabin, that is cheap. No, that's not even it. Cause what did she say? Ohio? A cabin? Cheap? Nah, friend. No, honey. You told me. I've never heard, or I never thought about, oh, let's turn mirrors around. Like, you've heard of and you've seen people put sheets over mirrors. Like, yeah, but turning around, I ain't touching nothing. I ain't touching nothing. So yeah, the fact that he did that and then prayed and something zapped him in his ear, oh, you wilding out. You wilding out, honey. Ain't gonna touch me. You ain't gonna touch me, honey. Especially when I'm praying to my God and you want to touch me. I'll be like, God, get him. God, get him. Because what are we doing? Not that. You're not touching over here. What they doing, Jesus? Not that. So yeah, no, I don't know what was going on. I didn't like it. He's talking about, I'm gonna stay a third night. Y'all go subscribe to her so you can see if he made it through the third night. Number 3. Girl, bye. Because I don't play about my sleep. Like, literally, like, what?
Story time. So here we go, continuing my little series of my little horror stories. So here's something else that happened to me when I was little. If you watched my last story, I was talking about an old brick house that I used to live in when I was 5. This is a different house. This house I lived in when I was like 9 to like 16 years old. That's at the age this story starts. I was about 9 years old. We had a big house. It was 3 floors. The basement, the first floor, second floor. Me and my mom, we had like the whole basement to ourselves. Like, one part was like really nice. It had its own like shower, bathroom. It had the washer and the dryer down there. But like one half of the basement was all like ugly, like the floor, like they had the piping and stuff from the house. So one night, my aunt, my uncle, and my 2 cousins are over. It's like a Saturday night, summertime. I think around that time, my family had been cleaning out the garage. So we had a bunch of stuff on the porch. Like, we had a big porch that like was the length of like the whole front of the house, basically. And so it was pretty big, and it had its little stairs, and it faced the front of the street. So when they're cleaning out the garage, they had everything, like pools, like buckets, boxes, like all type of stuff, like all over the porch. So like we only had like a clear little pathway to open the door, from the door to the stairs and whatever. So you couldn't go to this side of the porch, you couldn't go to that side of the porch. But so like the door's facing, we're looking at the door, and then there's a window right here in the living room, and then the other window's in my aunt's room. So around this night, like, I've always been, I guess, spiritually heightened, I guess, on my family, because like I said, we've always been haunted forever. But on this night, everybody was upstairs, the adults, and me and the kids, my siblings and my cousins, because I was the oldest. I was around 9, remember. So we were all downstairs and just watching a movie. It's pretty late. It's probably around like midnight, 1 in the morning. Everybody's upstairs drinking, eating, just talking.
And so we had like a motion sensor light, right? So it was weird because when we were down there, I started feeling kind of creeped out and I didn't know why. And then like minutes later, I start hearing like all this commotion coming from upstairs. Like, you know, my aunts and my uncles like, oh my God, what is that? Like, what the hell, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I'm just like, what the hell? So I go upstairs and, you know, like when you're a kid and like people are just like shrugging you off, like telling you not to worry about shit because, you know, you're going to get scared or whatever. Like I'm asking everybody, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? They're like, no, go back downstairs. Just stay downstairs. Like, but then one of my uncles is all like, no, go check on the kids. Like, you know, like they were all creeped out and my uncle was like looking through his phone. Like I think he had maybe recorded it or had a picture of it. I don't know. But so this is what happened. So they're sitting there in the living room. And then the porch light comes on, right? And like I said, it's a motion detector light. And they see this huge figure that was like slumped over like a hunchback, you know? And that it had like a big old back and it had like spikes. Like it looked like it had spikes coming out of like his back, right? The only thing that I can compare it to is if you ever seen the movie The Village. Have you guys ever, look it up right now, I swear to God. The Village. The creatures in the red cloaks, that's what everybody described it to look like. So the motion light comes on and they see the big figure and it starts walking back and forth. This window in front of the door, back and forth. But mind you, like I said, there was stuff on the porch piled high. So there's no way this figure could have walked back and forth, slowly. Everybody was freaked out because they're like, what the hell could be so big that could take up damn near the whole size of the door and just walking back and forth eerily? And I guess my uncles were creeped out. I mean, I would have been fucking scared. I would, you know, and they didn't go and open the thing to go look at what it was. Like, they waited a while. Like, they were freaking out. They're like, we don't know what to do. And supposedly, my uncle got a picture of it, but I don't even think he has it anymore. That was years ago. But, I mean, I never saw it. I don't know. But everybody was so freaked out. And they were shrugging me off, like, go downstairs. Like, don't ask no questions. Like, the fear that I felt in that house that day was real as fuck. Like, you know? And listen to this. Days later, you know, one of those people that go knocking on your door talking about God. I don't know if it was the Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know who it was, but they were speaking Spanish because it was a predominantly, you know, Latino neighborhood. So everybody was really spoke Spanish. So she comes to the door and I open the door. I open the door and she's telling me like, oh, like I just wanted to give you this pamphlet, like, you know, just saying her regular stuff, like, is your parents home? I'm like, oh no, my mom's sleeping, blah blah, like I'll give it to her though. She's like, oh, okay. And so she turns around, but then she stops real quick and she turns back around. She's like, listen, she's like, there's been some evil things happening around here lately and I just wanted to spread the word of God. And I'm like, and that kind of caught my attention. I was just like, evil things? And she's like, yeah. She's like, there's been a lot of things being released and people have been seeing and experiencing some, I guess, supernatural happenings. She's all like, there's evil about. She's all like, be careful who you open your door to. And I'm like, that's kind of weird because I opened the door to you. She's all like, but then she kind of caught it. She was like, oh, but she's like, don't open the door at night. And then she just walked away. I was like, and I kind of shrugged it off at the time because, you know, I'm little and I'm just like, whatever. But then when my family started talking about it days later about the whole experience and I could feel the fear again, I started thinking back to that lady and I'm just like, I wonder what she heard that she was coming around here with those pamphlets. But yeah, that's my story. So let me know if you guys want to hear another one.
Honey. Why did she think to tell a 9-year-old this information? You know, like you scaring the baby. Like, girl, Because if the uncles are scared, like it takes a lot to get the uncles scared, or does it? I don't know. My uncle, it would take a lot to get him scared. So if the uncles are scared, we have a reason to be scared now. We have a reason. Like, what did they see? Like, I don't even want to know. I've never seen The Village. I guess I need to see. Have you seen The Village? Comment below. Let me know if it's worth watching, because, you know, some movies before 2005, I'm just like, I'm not watching that. Let me know if I should watch it. Is it a good one? Is it a good one? But yeah, no. Why are we telling the babies? Like, and if someone told me, oh, you don't want to know, like back in the day, it would be things that they be like, oh, you gotta wait until you're older. And now then I got older, and I'd be like, you remember? And they'd be like, nah, I don't remember that. And I was just like, you never wanted to tell me anyway. No. Cause ain't no way. You know, the other day someone was like, "Are you a Jehovah's Witness? You remind me. I think you're a Jehovah's Witness." I really took it as a compliment, because it let me know. It made me feel like people see the God in me, and it's just like, "Oh, okay, cool, bet." But now I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, like who comes to the door and be like, "Don't open the door for anybody." Again, 9 years old. At 9, I knew not to open the door. We not open the door. It'll be people in my family that come over and knock on the door and be like, "Open the door." And I'd be like, but my mom didn't tell me that you were coming over, so you're not getting in. They would literally have to call my mom. My mom had to call me from work and be like, open the door. And I'd be like, are you sure? Are you sure they... So yeah, I'm not opening up no door at all. Even if somebody's at the house, you got to be in the living room with me for me to just be like, oh, let me open the door. You know, at 9? Nope. Poor thing.
I'm gonna tell the story in the first person, but it did not happen to me. For once. One night, I happened to wake up from a nightmare. When I turned around, I see that my fiance is laying there. She's laying there so peacefully that I don't want to wake her. She's so sound asleep that even her ears are twitching. As I laid back on my back, I'm laying there staring up at the ceiling, trying to fall asleep, when to my horror, the bedroom door opens and I see my fiance walk in. I was so terrified that she could see in my face just how scared I was. Then I frantically started looking next to me for her, because I had just seen her lay next to me. My fiance then asked me what was wrong, and I explained to her. She then said that that was impossible because she had been in the bathroom for the past 30 minutes and she had just walked in. I kept insisting that I had just seen her, and she assured me that there was no way. I decided to kind of let it go, and we laid back down to bed and went to sleep. As we're drifting back to sleep, I feel the bed move. It's almost like when something stands on the corner of the mattress. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. I know I'm not imagining it, because I can literally feel my body moving towards where the weight is going down. Too terrified to even look, I decided to just kind of close my eyes and hope that it goes away. Then I feel when the bed goes back up again, like whatever was standing on it left, and then I hear shuffling going across the room. The next morning, my fiance brings up what happened the night before, and I once again tell her, like, I saw you lay next to me, same freckles, same hair, it was you. She then confessed that some nights when I'm at work, she'll be laying in bed and she'll look over and she'll think that she can see me laying next to her as well. So yeah, that's a mimic.
What? What are you saying to me? I cannot comprehend what I just heard, because what is happening? Honey, what? You see somebody laying beside you that you know is your significant other, and then the door open, your significant other walks through the door, and then your significant other that you thought was beside you ain't there anymore, and you just gonna be like, oh, let's go back to bed. Oh, heck no. We're going to investigate. We're gonna figure this. If you feel something on your bed, tell me, because if I hear a thing, if I hear anything while I'm laying with my eyes shut, I am investigating. I don't give a fool. I don't give a fool. I'm gonna be a G in that moment, because I'm gonna figure out, because I'm not about to get got closing there, sitting there, laying down with my eyes closed and get got like a sucker. Oh, heck no. We're gonna figure out what's going on. We're gonna cut all the lights on. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna fight. These people, man, these people, because I'm just like, I don't give a crap how scared I am. But when I get in my mind that I need to do something, I need to survive, I'm surviving. I'm making up plans in my head. We're going to figure this out. Girl, bye. Just for her to be like, oh, no, that was me. I was in the bathroom for 30 minutes. Girl, what you do? You constipated? What's going on? Why are you in the bathroom for 30 minutes? We're just going to jump over the fact that you was there in the bathroom for... No. You over here telling me that, no, it wasn't me. I was in the bathroom. You just imagining things. You know for a fact that she felt that pressure on the bed too, and just ain't saying that because she's scared. Just to wake up in the morning and be like, oh yeah, when you're at work, I see you laying beside me. Don't you think you should have shared that information instead of making me feel like I'm crazy? Throw everybody away. Let's throw the whole house away. Throw the girlfriend away. Throw the thing away. Just everything get thrown away. Because what? Nah. I'm not hearing that. I have nothing for that. Nothing.
I want to share with you guys a scary story time while I prep some hamburger buns for dinner. Now, when I was 23, I lived in Europe, specifically the island of Majorca and Zagreb, Croatia. When I lived in Croatia, I was a missionary evangelist, and I stayed and volunteered at a church that put me up in their missionary apartment above the church. Now, all my life, I've been really into horror movies, horror genre. I'm just really into it still to this day. But I lived alone above a church, and I was in a foreign country. So in true Tiana fashion, I was watching American Horror Story. My best friend FaceTimed me, and she was at a wedding, and it was a 9-hour difference. So it was daytime where she was, nighttime where I was. While I was talking, I was using my laptop screen to give me light while I was FaceTiming her. And all of a sudden I started to taste blood in my mouth. So using the laptop light, I opened my mouth, looking at myself through the FaceTime lens, and my teeth were fully drenched in blood. Terrifying, I know. So I stand up holding my laptop, and I go flick the lights on with my elbow, and as soon as the lights came on, the blood was gone. Now, I could have easily convinced myself that it didn't happen, but my best friend on FaceTime saw it happen. So I was terrified. Then her phone dies, and I proceeded to be up the rest of the night, and I stopped watching scary stuff while I was out there. I have plenty more scary stories that I would like to share with you guys, so follow and like for more. And yeah, I'm still baking these buns.
Girl, no. I was looking at the mirror, like it just stopped. That I saw something else. Like you see her, and then you see something. See, this is why I don't be investigating, looking into these videos while they talking about scary stuff. No, friend, why are we doing this? You are. So there's some things that I would not do in a church. There's a few things. Now I'm living in a foreign country, and a missionary. I'm not watching American Horror Story. When it first came out, I was in college, and I would not dare. I know I told y'all about that. My friends would have American Horror Story parties. They would just all watch. Everybody would get together and watch, and I was just like, nope. Because I know this campus is haunted. Why would I be watching? Why would you be doing that, girl? And you see this blood, you taste blood, you see blood. That is not a coincidence. You should not be... I would say do the research. Maybe you should have did some research after that. But if you still have to stay there, what's the point of doing the research? I guess to let you know what what to look out for, what you about to endure. Like, you want to know more stories, go follow her, because I'm pretty sure she got more stories, especially if she lived there for a second. Because no, friend. What? No. I low-key want to know how these buns turned out, because she roll them up in a shape or anything. She just fold them over. I hope they don't have that little break in the middle, like at the end. Like, I low-key want to see how those buns turned out. But like these videos, and don't forget to subscribe.